Hello everybody, welcome to the first very episode of Learning with Fun with Ayon. Now, I'm going to be teaching J1, J2, J3, SS1. If you are entering SS1, this is very useful for you. If you are in J3, entering J3, you can watch it, but it's not compulsory for this particular subject. We're talking about economics in today's topic. And we're going to have 10 series, 10 episodes of economics before we move to the next subject. So, why would you talk about economics? We start talking about the main thing, the first thing, the history of economics. That's the definition and the scope of economics. It might seem as though in other subjects you see, define economics, define history, define history, define biology, define agric, define social, define business studies, and all those other subjects. But economics, there's no particular definition of economics. You can define economics as it's meant to be by different people who have logically taught and analyzed economics and placed the definition of economics. Economics has been defined by a lot of people, but they have categorized it under some main definitions. And economics was found, I don't want to use anything less than more than 10 minutes. It was first defined by Adam Smith in the 18th century. Is a British economist. He defined economics as an inquiry into the nature and the causes of wealth of the nation. John Stuart Mill defined economics as the practical science of production and distribution of wealth. Alfred Marshall defined economics as the study of mankind ordinary business of life. And there are so many other ones, but the main and most acceptable one all over the world was defined by Professor Leonard Robinson. You might have heard that name before. Now, he defined economics as a science which studied human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means, which have alternate uses. Now, if you want to break that definition, you will see that ends means the want, human want. You see that the scarce, which the study of mankind is study as a science study human behavior as a relationship between ends, the relationship between ends and scarce means. Those scarce means are the limited resources to satisfy those wants, human wants, which are unlimited, which are used for an alternative use, like for different purpose or different reasons. I'm saying it again, I don't want to use anything more than 10 minutes on this video, so please pay attention to 8 details and 8 key definitions. Before we move on to the next thing, I really want to talk about with you people. I have a lot here for you guys for this episode, and I really need to talk about a lot. Now, let me ask you a question, a trivia question, before we move to the next aspect. Now, the trivia question is, the definition of economics as the practical science of production and distribution of wealth was given by, I give you 5 seconds to think. You might have guessed it right. The answer is John Stuart Mill. I said it earlier in this video. If you were paying attention, you would have gotten it. I think some of you would have gotten it, most likely. Please pay attention, especially if you are going to you're entering SS1. You really need this video as a start before school resumes. So now, I was talking about the reason why we study economics. We cannot just study economics like as if we have to have reasons for each things we do, like the reasons for behind everything human beings do. So now we study economics to maximize to aid production and distribution of goods. We study economics to allocate resources, like the resources to use, and we also study economics to make rational decisions. Economics, if you're in economics, you know how you spend. You don't just spend anyhow, and you think before making decisions. So that's things you need to know. And if you notice that the main definition, they mention something about human behavior. Now we want to look now, how is economics and how does it study him, and why is he? Because many people say that economics is a social science. I've already said it. Many people say that economics is a social science and a science subject. Economics is social science because he studied human behavior. Social science, he studied human behavior, and is a science subject because he studies and he uses scientific measures like hypothesis on all hypothesis, and all those other stuffs. The next aspect we're going to is the scope of economics. That was the definition we went to. This video, I said we're going to talk about the definition and scope of economics, and obviously I'll give you an assignment to deal with, and the next video will review the assignment. Now, next topic, next part is the scope of economics, and economics is separated. Let me say it's separated into two categories. That's major two. I think the branches, that is the micro and macro. Micro and macro. The micro studies like individual and small individual firms and small groups of organization of people. That's what they study. While the macroeconomics, they study economics as a whole. Like it does not take time to understand these concepts. It studies economics as a whole. So pay attention to understand all these stuffs. I really hope you actually keep to all these stuffs and put it in your day-to-day activity. Now the next part of economics we're going to talk about. Let's talk about the basic concept of economics. Before we go to economics as a topic, we need to know that the basic concept of economics before we start going to the main. We're going to start going to the main topic, which is in the next video. Now, the basic concepts of economics. We have 5 basic concepts of economics, and if you are listing it, especially in your exams and your WAEC, I don't want to tell you anything yet, but I would advise myself as a person, write it in an order, like from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, like according to it. I really hope you take this video seriously, because I'm only working with the subject I know I'm really good at, and that subject I'm going to make very pay attention to, like the likes of economics, math, further math, we'll go to biology, business studies. For the junior category level, we can study agri, we can study business studies, and some other subjects which I know I can handle for you guys. So we have 5 basic concepts of economics. And what is economics without the first basic concept? That is want. Human want. Numerous, very wild. Once you have want, you set that want, another want to arise. They are insatiable. Human wants are insatiable. Wants are human desires, are the things human want or human desire. That's just it. The things human desire. The second basic concept of economics is scarcity. Scarcity. This is cost, or this is limited resources. It's caused by limited resources in the environment. Due to like human wants are numerous, but we don't have enough resources to satisfy those human wants. Thereby, we lead to scarcity. Third thing in this, we are going to be looking at scale of preference. Scale of preference. That's the third one. This thing very carefully. Especially to do that one, those of you that want to be a businessman, businesswoman, or you're going there, you are a man. You need to know this when you want, because so economical scale of preference is like arranging your wants in order of priority. Now let's give an example. I need a bag, I need a shoe, I need a socks. I need a bag, shoe, socks, and I also need a pair of trousers. The first thing on your list should not be the socks or I said bag, socks, phone. Let's give this example. Bag, socks, phone, and trouser. The first thing on your list to be trouser. So let's say you have 5,000 naira. Trouser should be the first thing you buy. If the trouser is 3,500 naira, buy that trouser 3,500. The next thing you need is like maybe the socks. You don't need the bag and the phone yet. The socks. Maybe the socks is 500. Buy the socks. If you still have money to buy, you can now That's what will lead to choice. Now when you have made your skill or preference, that I'm sorry for skipping that part. I've already used past my time, but I'll soon round up. Sorry, let's extend this to a little while. When you have highlighted your skill of preference, your priority accordingly, you now choose out of selecting out of your wants, your numerous wants. Then from that, the bag and the phone that you neglected because your money cannot satisfy it, that are your opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the act of those, they are the one, they are the recall the real cost, the alternative for gold. The choice that you don't have enough money for, you just let it go, let it be. That's the 5 basic concepts of economics. I hope in this video you're able to understand, at least learn something from it. We're just getting started on economics. This is the definition and basic concepts and scope of economics. I hope you really love this. And we have a lot to talk about, but on this video I would like to give you an assignment. I'm giving you 2 questions and assignment to go home and learn. On the next video we're going to review the assignment. Let's think. I'm looking for a very suitable assignment to give. Now the first question we need to give you, let's say, choice is necessary because resources are available, B, can be found everywhere, C, are constant, D, are scarce, and E, they are limited. Justice is necessary because resources are available, they can be found anywhere, are constant, are scarce, and limited. The second question I want to give you is the definition of economics as the science which studies human behavior and relationship between end and scarce means which have alternative uses was given by A, Adam Smith, B, David Ricardo, C, Leonard Robinson, D, Thomas, and E, Roberts. On the next video, these 2 questions I just gave you, we'll review them. I would love to see you on my next video next time we meet. I love you all, and any question and anything you don't understand about what we talked about today, please notify me in the comment section so that in the next video I'll talk about it more. Love you all, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.